Gucci Mane just broke his silence. And I need you to understand the weight of that statement right now, because the situation surrounding this man has escalated to a level that nobody in the industry saw coming this fast. Sources close to the streets are saying that since the DOJ press conference dropped and Gucci's cooperation with federal investigators became public knowledge, there are people in Memphis, people connected to Pooh Shiesty's circle, who are actively talking about making Gucci pay for what they see as a betrayal. We are talking about real threats, real conversations happening in real rooms. And Gucci Mane, one of the most storied figures in the history of Atlanta rap, is now navigating the most dangerous moment of his post-street life. Stay with me, because this story is moving fast, and by the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what Gucci said, what the streets are saying back, and why the fallout from January 10th in Dallas is nowhere near finished. To understand why Gucci breaking his silence matters so much, you have to understand the position he has been in since this whole situation went public. For weeks after January 10th, Gucci said absolutely nothing publicly. No posts, no interviews, no response to the rumors that were spreading across every corner of the internet about what allegedly happened in that Dallas studio. And that silence was strategic, because when you are the victim in an active federal investigation, the last thing your lawyers want is you running your mouth on Instagram and giving the defense any ammunition to work with. So Gucci stayed quiet while the feds built their case, while the ankle monitor data was pulled, while the rental car records came back, while the fingerprints got matched off Solo cups, while 8 of the 9 defendants got picked up simultaneously across 3 cities on April 1st. Gucci stayed completely silent through all of it, which means when he finally does speak, and he has now started to speak, every single word carries enormous weight, both for the legal case that is building and for his standing in a culture that has spent the last several days tearing him apart for cooperating with law enforcement. So what did Gucci say when he finally broke that silence? Look, he is not going into specifics about the case itself. His legal team is not going to let that happen. But what has come out publicly from Gucci's camp is the framing of this entire situation as a straight up violation, a betrayal, not just of a business relationship, but of everything Gucci invested in Pooh Shiesty as a human being. Because people forget, Gucci did not just sign Shiesty to a label deal. This was a man who came home from his own federal bid, built 1017 into a legitimate operation, and extended a hand to a young rapper from Memphis who had real talent and real potential. He put him on. He gave him the platform. And what Gucci is making clear now, carefully, through the way his camp is framing this publicly, is that what happened in that Dallas studio was not just a crime, it was personal. And the fact that Gucci went through proper legal channels rather than handling it differently is something he clearly views as the right call for where he is in his life right now. A 46-year-old man, a father, a CEO, with too much to lose to let Pooh Shiesty drag him back to a version of himself that he has spent years leaving behind. Now here is where the story gets genuinely tense. And I want to be careful with how I say this, because these are not confirmed incidents. These are conversations that sources close to the situation are describing as actively happening. Within days of the DOJ press conference going public, the temperature in Memphis around the situation got hot very fast. People connected to Shiesty's circle, people who have known him since before the music, before the label deal, before any of it, are not separating Gucci cooperating with federal investigators from Gucci personally destroying Pooh Shiesty's life. In their mind, the logic is simple. Pooh is looking at life in prison. His dad is in custody. Big 30 is caught up in it. And Gucci Mane is the one who was in that room and is now the primary witness in a federal kidnapping case. Whether or not that framing is accurate, and we have covered extensively on this channel why the evidence existed completely independently of anything Gucci said, it does not matter to the people having these conversations. What matters to them is the outcome. And the outcome is that their person is gone, potentially forever, and Gucci Mane is the face of that. Sources are saying there are people in Memphis who are actively discussing making that point in a very physical way. And that is not a small thing, because Memphis is not a city that makes idle threats. And this is where the cultural conversation around this situation stops being entertaining and starts being genuinely concerning. Because the snitch debate, as absurd as it is when you actually look at the evidence, is creating a permission structure for people to view Gucci Mane as a legitimate target. Think about what that means in practice. You have got thousands of people across Instagram, TikTok, YouTube comments, all repeating the same narrative. Gucci told, Gucci is a rat, Gucci violated the code. And while most of those people are just talking on the internet, the people in Memphis having the real conversations are hearing that same narrative amplified and validated by the entire online rap community. It gives weight to something that has no business having weight, because the actual facts of this case are not ambiguous. Shiesty had a government ankle monitor on his leg tracking his GPS in real time. His dad rented the car. His dad printed the contract at Staples in that rental on the way there. The studio had cameras. The hotel had cameras. Multiple co-defendants posted stolen Rolexes on Instagram with Dallas location tags the same night. The feds did not need Gucci Mane to say a single word to build this case, but that fact is getting completely buried under a wave of online noise that is now translating into real-world tension around a real person's safety.
I just can't believe it. Gucci Mane snitched on Pooh Shiesty? Nah, this is what they're saying. They're saying that Pooh Shiesty got arrested. It was because Gucci Mane cooperated, told the cops that he got kidnapped by Pooh. They put a gun to his head, they knocked out his homie, they stole all his shit, and they made him sign a contract that he didn't want to sign. And he told the cops, and that's why the cops went, found Pooh, found everybody, found where they live, got them all up, put them all in jail. The crazy thing I'm hearing is it's possible that Pooh Shiesty can get a whole life sentence type shit now. Because remember, he was just in trouble. So that part is crazy to me. I don't, what the fuck is going on? Everybody's heartbroken about like Atlanta and how all the tough rappers are just cooperating lately. And you know, it's a question though, like, what the fuck would you do? What option you got? Like, imagine somebody kidnap you with a gun, make you sign some fucking business paperwork you didn't want to sign. You either gonna go and splash them all up, or you're gonna let the cops handle it. And if you go and splash them up, you're gonna end your own life, end your business, end your family, end everything. So, damn, it's like a crazy position he was in, man. I don't know. What would you do? How you guys feel about this crazy shit? Let's talk about it. Holla at you.
So where does Gucci go from here? Because this is the part that nobody is really talking about. He is not just navigating a legal situation, he is navigating his entire public standing in a culture that is currently turning on him. And the way he handles the next few months is going to define how this chapter of his legacy gets written. The smart play, and everything coming from his camp suggests this is the direction, is to let the legal process do its work and stay as far above the noise as possible. He still owns every Pooh Shiesty record ever made. That contract signed at gunpoint is not going to hold up in any courtroom. So financially, Gucci is actually in a stronger position coming out of this than Shiesty is. He keeps the catalog, he keeps the royalties, he keeps the label, and Shiesty gets nothing. Not the freedom, not the Gotti deal, not the music, nothing. But physically, and this is the part that the legal process cannot protect him from, Gucci Mane is going to have to move differently for a while, because the streets do not care about ankle monitor data or Staples receipts or Instagram location tags. They care about the narrative, and right now the narrative has Gucci painted as the villain in a story where he was the victim. And that is the real tragedy buried inside all of this. A man who genuinely evolved, who built a legitimate business, who chose to handle the most violating moment of his adult life through legal channels instead of retaliation. And the culture's response is to paint a target on his back for it. Gucci Mane did not end Pooh Shiesty's career. Pooh Shiesty ended Pooh Shiesty's career the moment he walked into that Dallas studio with 8 people from Memphis and an AK on January 10th. But the fallout from that decision is still spreading. And Gucci Mane, the victim, is the one currently living with the consequences of someone else's stupidity. Subscribe and stay close to this channel because this situation is developing daily and the next chapter of this story is going to be something else entirely. I will see you in the next one.